doing what he did. Where does that stack up for you?
The best. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think I mean, he's had a lot of, gaudy games, but I just think, Game 7 in Boston, all the circumstances that surround Boston, the history behind Boston, playing a team that's very well coached, a good young team that's undefeated in the playoffs at home.
All right, so that's Ty Lue. Shannon, simply put, was this the greatest game of LeBron's career?
Skip, I've gone back and forth, and, I'm a historian of LeBron James. But as Ty Lue said, given the circumstances, now we remember games 5, 6, and 7 of Golden State. But he did have Kyrie and Kevin Love riding shotgun. 6 and 7. Kevin Love goes out, Skip, 3 minutes into the ball game with that concussion? He has to carry the mail, has to bring it home. And in this, he goes into the game knowing that I'm not going to have Kevin Love. So now, all of a sudden, that's why you see his rebounding total 15, because he knew he was going to have to help Tristan on the boards because there was no Kevin Love going to be there. And as Ty Lue was also stating, Game 7, with a minimum of 2 games, the Boston Celtics have the best Game 7 home record in NBA history. Skip, think about all the great Lakers teams that led by Elgin Baylor and Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain that couldn't get it done in the Garden. You think about the Magic Johnson's teams that couldn't get it done in a Game 7. The bad boy Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals couldn't get it done in a Game 7. LeBron James takes a team, and you look at Jeff Green. Jeff Green has played on 5 teams before he joined the Cleveland Cavaliers. George Hill has been on 4 teams. Kyle Korver has been on 4 teams. That's what he took into that building. And granted, Skip, they're not the offensive juggernaut that they probably would have been had they had Kyrie. But I'm not so sure they could play the brand of basketball that they've been playing, which is stifling, suffocating defense. Because that's what they're good. That's what they were known for, Skip. You have these young, long, athletic guys, and they switch multiple times. Al Horford can switch. Al Horford will protect the rim. And LeBron James said, you know what? I know what you're thinking. I'm coming in the Garden, and I'm going to take what's rightfully mine. And unless you played with the Celtics in the 50s, unless you a Russell, unless you a Sam Jones, unless you one of them guys, Skip, nobody in the modern era know what it feels like to be LeBron James. Going to 8 straight finals. And he would have it no other way in a Game 7 in Boston. Call it the body snatcher.
Really?
Yeah, he took their soul.
Took their soul? So you're going, this is his greatest game?
Given the circumstances, Skip. I know you might like the Detroit series, but you got to understand also, if you go back to some of those past performances, you're talking about LeBron at 22. You're talking about LeBron now on his 8 straight finals trip, logged all these minutes with 3 Olympics in also encapsulated in that span. So given the totality of it, it's hard for me to disagree with Ty Lue.
Talk about prisoner of moment. Talk about overreaction. Talk about blind witness. This was not even close to being LeBron's greatest game, because I'm going to say it one more time. The Celtics aren't nearly as good as the Cavaliers are because of that guy. And the Celtics are woefully challenged on offense, as we saw again last night. So LeBron didn't really have to play that much. Man, they were at home. They were. I can just show you the stats. In the fourth quarters of the last 3 games at TD Bank, they were woefully bad from 3. So just to go with your premise. So let's look at Michael Jordan's last game as a Chicago Bull, Game 6 at Utah, because the score was exactly the same. Bulls scored 87 points. Last night, Cleveland won on the road with 87 points. Michael was at Utah against Malone, Stockton, Hornacek. It was a pretty good team. And last night, LeBron's up against a team without Kyrie, without Gordon Hayward, without Shane Larkin, without Daniel Tice. Those are key bench players for the Celtics. So let's look at what happened. Michael Jordan scored 45 of the 87 points that the Bulls scored that night in Game 6. So LeBron scored 35 of the 87 scored last night by the Cavaliers. Michael had 4 steals, including the steal at the end of the game on Karl Malone. And LeBron didn't have any steals last night and had 8 turnovers. Michael had 1 turnover in that game and had the ball in his hands, by far the most of any player on the floor.
Did he play all 48 minutes?
No, he played 44, so
Okay.
it's pretty close.
No, they ain't pretty close. No, hold up. Since when is 4 close to 8?
Okay, so LeBron just hung in the game.
No, Skip. You said you wanted to see him play all 48, and he did it.
I didn't say I wanted
Yes, you
to play
did.
all
Yes, you
48.
did. You
I
said
just
you
wanted
wanted
to see him engaged the whole game. But Michael that night had only 1 teammate scoring double figures. Kukoc had 15. And last night, LeBron did have 3 teammates in double figures. So that's some help. I think he had help last night, wouldn't you say?
Skip.
So Michael was 1 year older that night than LeBron is now. So I don't know. Really? We're going to throw that game up against Jordan's game?
But here's the thing. But that wasn't the question. The question was,
I'm just showing you for perspective. There's a game.
if you don't mind me asking, so what are we about to do about that year and a half that Michael took off to take on his body? They got his body rested. What are we going to do about that year and a half?
I don't know. He was forced to take it.
Okay, he was forced, but I'm just saying, what do we get to do about that? Because in a year and a half, I can assure you he was not digging ditches. I can assure you he was not doing manual labor. So I'm trying to figure out, since you made it about Jordan, what is LeBron supposed to do about that?
I don't know. He's the fittest athlete, you tell me, in the
He
history
is.
of sports. So
you
shouldn't be doing anything
you give me
about it.
those stats about Michael only had 1 teammate, Tony Kukoc, in double figures.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, prior to Michael Jordan getting Scottie Pippen, how far did he advance in the playoffs minus Scottie Pippen?
Well, okay. So Pippen helps, but he's not. Again, Michael made him a top 50
So let me
player.
ask you a question. All things being equal, who's a better player, Kevin Love or Scottie Pippen?
Kevin Love's pretty good.
I'm just asking you a simple, that wasn't what I asked. That wasn't a question. Who's a better player, Scottie Pippen or Kevin Love?
I'd probably take Scotty over Kevin
He
Love, but
probably
it'd
would.
be close. It'd be
Okay.
close. Kevin Love is 6'10" and was leading the playoffs in rebounds before he got concussed.
Okay.
You know that.
All things
You
being
don't think
equal.
Kevin can make threes?
Who would you tell? Okay, the third option, whomever the third option is, who's a better third option on the Cavaliers currently as we speak? Whoever that is, are they better than Dennis Rodman?
Dennis was at the end of the line.
He did still average 14 rebounds a game.
Yeah, it's fair, but again, look at the competition. These green Celtics, 2 green Celtics
Let me ask you-
versus Malone, Stockton, and Hornacek.
So if you don't
really?
mind me asking, which one of those players, is it Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford? Which one of those players is Jeff Hornacek better than? Which one of those players is Dan Marley better
On
than?
that night of Game 6,
No.
he's better than a bunch of them.
I'm not
Trust
talking-
me.
I'm not talking about that
He was
night.
a cold-blooded, knockdown three-point
So in
shooter.
other words, you're telling
And
me.
he would defend like crazy, like get up in you. Whew.
So are you telling me Jeff
He knew
Hornacek?
how to play and
So
how
are
to
you-
win. These kids don't know how to
So
win.
I'm asking you. So are you saying Jeff?
Jaylen Brown was lost last night. Just lost.
So Skip, you're gonna take
Both
one
ends.
game. What about the
I'm
game?
just saying that was the game. This was the game for Utah, the game for the Boston Celtics.
So we do it just. So in other words, we just regard everything else that happened up until this game.
No,
So
I'm just showing you that's degree of difficulty. That was hard because you're going to get eliminated that night in Utah if you don't win that game.
what the hell was going to happen to LeBron if he lost Game 7?
Okay, well, I'm just saying, but I got it. But what's degree of difficulty? Help me out.
First of all,
Help me out. Who had the higher degree of difficulty
First
that
of all,
night?
Skip.
Scottie Pippen was sick that night, just for the record.
Skip.
Help me out.
First of all, the degree of difficulty. If they lose that Game 6, there's a Game 7. That's all that means. So the degree of difficulty is out the window. That's obsolete. It makes your point not and void. See, LeBron James, there's finality to a Game 7 because you know why, Skip? They don't play Games 8 and 9.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to LeBron's greatest game. In my view, it was that 2012. This was, you want to talk about hot seat time
Yeah.
for LeBron? That Game 6 at Boston?
Yes.
Same building.
Yes.
LeBron, the year before, had melted down the way I'd never seen a superstar melt down in the finals.
Okay.
So everybody's saying, are you really that guy? So they're facing elimination that night against Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen. Now, they're older players at that point, but I still say that was high degree of difficulty with Rondo because that team knew how to win.
Correct.
And LeBron went in and destroyed them and played 45 minutes and scored 45 points. 15 rebounds, 5 assists. It was big time. I was just in awe of it.
But you lose sight of the fact he had D. Wade and he also had Chris Bosh.
Okay, D.
you got to
Wade
look.
scored 17 that night, and Chris Bosh scored 8. So he had one other teammate in double figures.
But the thing is, Skip, is that D. Wade still had cachet. Chris Bosh still was an all-star.
I agree.
But when you look at this, no Kevin. So now it'd have been if you took D. Wade away, And he pulls that off. So now he has to go with Chris Bosh and Haslam and whomever else is in there. Now you make a very compelling argument. But given what LeBron had to do minus Kevin Love and given what he had to do on the Skip, there's nothing like Game 7. There's nothing like it. Nothing. And the finality of it. See, in Michael Jordan,
well, there's something like it called Game 6 when you're going to be eliminated and you've taken your talents to South Beach to join Dwayne and Chris.
But what I'm trying to explain to you is that Michael Jordan, when he hit that walk-off, if he misses that, they go to Game 7.
No, they go to Game 7. Okay. Now, Scotty was so sick, I didn't think he was going to be able to play in Game 7. So there's a lot riding on this.
It's skill.
He just said, I got this.
What was Jordan's stat line? He had 45.
He had nothing else.
Nothing.
He doesn't do the other stuff.
But that's my point.
Yeah, but he scored 45 of 87 points. That's just preposterous.
But LeBron had 35 of the 87, and then he has assists. But you think about all the assists that he had were on wide open shots that they missed. And that was starting him to get frustrated because, like I said, his most trusted sniper, Kyle Korver, missed 2 wide open corner threes. Now, Skip, you know in that corner, Kyle Korver, lethal.
Well, that's why he shouldn't have shot that shot.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Skip. No, don't do that.
Bottom line to this, I just can't go greatest game ever when you have 8 turnovers. I'm sorry, it's just too many. 8 turnovers, he's better than that. You know that.
Look, but you got to think about 3 of those turnovers was on charges. It wasn't like he made bad passes and one of them shouldn't have been because Marcus Smart flopped and he flopped.
I tweeted
that should have been an and one.
All right, I'll give you 7 turnovers.
And he should have had an and one on Rozier because they said he fouled it. He never put the ball back down, Skip. And I'll tell you one more thing, Skip. That shot that he made against Toronto, that was skill. Because you see him do that shot more times than not now. How he's going to the right, on his right-hand side, and he kisses the ball.
He had backboard to shoot at in the which game was it? I forget where he's going. Game 3. He's going hard left. He's run out of backboard. He's getting close to the baseline, and he's going to try to kiss it off nothing, and it barely ticks the backboard and goes in.
He just made that shot a little closer in on Al Horford last night.
I saw it, but he had plenty of backboard to work with.
Falling out of bounds. Falling out of bounds.
I think it was a little lucky.
Oh, don't do that, Skip.
I'm pretty sure.
What did Amundsen say about luck, Skip? Victory awaits the man who has everything in order.
Who did Amundsen play for?
Don't worry about it, Skip. You know who Amundsen played for. He didn't play for anybody.
All right, guys, we are human. Sometimes we all get rejected, but not always by King James. One of his blocks was so nasty last night, we have to take a look back at it. It might have been